I pulled the trigger on my father's knee with the same steady hand I'd used to steady the helm during a Category 4 off the Carolina coast, watching the blood bloom like a rogue wave across his khakis. Daddy's little girl finally grew teeth, he gasped, his Admiral's stars glinting mockingly under the chandelier of our Virginia estate. But those teeth had been filed sharp by years of his lies that cost me my commission, my freedom, and the brother I buried in a pauper's grave. In that moment, as sirens wailed distant from Norfolk, I realized revenge wasn't a storm you weathered, it was the one you became, swallowing everything in its path. The salt air of Chesapeake Bay clung to my skin like a bad memory as I drove the winding back roads from Arlington Cemetery to the family home in Yorktown. It was June 2023. The kind of humid summer evening where the cicadas screamed like they knew the devil was coming home for dinner. I'd just stood over Jake's headstone, my baby brother, all of 19 when he shipped out to the sandbox, his dog tags still smelling faintly of diesel and fear when they mailed them back. Kia, the telegram said. Killed in action. Bullshit. Jake didn't die for some IED in Helmand. He died choking on the truth I swallowed for Dad. I was 28 then, fresh out of Annapolis with a butter bar on my shoulder and stars in my eyes. Dad, Rear Admiral Harlan Iron Hull Whitaker, had pinned them on me himself, his calloused paw squeezing my arm hard enough to bruise. Proud of you, Ellie, he'd growled, voice like gravel under tank treads. But remember, the Navy ain't no sorority. It's war. The reception afterward was all brass and backslaps. Senators nursing scotch, while their wives eyed me like I was the help who'd wandered into the officers' mess. That's where I met Lieutenant Commander Ryan Hale, tall, square-jawed, with that easy southern drawl that made you forget he could plot a carrier strike in his sleep. We locked eyes over the punch bowl, and by midnight, we were tangled in the guest room of the officers' club, his uniform jacket crumpled under my back like a promise. Dad hated him on sight. Chasing boys in uniform again. Ellie? Christ. You're worse than your mother. Mom had bailed when I was 10, running off to Key West with a yacht broker who promised her sunsets without salutes. Dad never forgave her. Or me for looking like her, same wavy chestnut hair, same stubborn jaw. But Ryan wasn't just some midshipman fling. He was smart, ambitious, the kind of officer who quoted Sun Tzu between kisses. We got married 6 months later in a quickie chapel on base, Elvis presiding via hologram, because why the hell not? Jake was my best man, all gangly limbs and acne-fading grins, whispering as he adjusted my veil. You sure about this, sis? Hale looks like he irons his underwear. I laughed it off, but Jake's words stuck like barnacles. Ryan deployed to the Gulf right after, carrier air wing buzzing F-18s over contested waters. I stayed stateside, pulling rotations on the USS Gerald R. Ford, tracking sub-chatter that could turn the Atlantic into a shooting gallery. Life was rhythm. Dawn PT runs along the York River, coffee black as bunker fuel, then hours in CIC staring at blips that might mean doomsday. Dad inspected my ship once, striding the deck like Poseidon with a clipboard, barking orders that had my CO sweating brass. Afterward, in his stateroom, he pulled me aside. You're good, kid. Damn good. But watch your six, politics sink more ships than torpedoes. I thought he meant the brass. The endless game of who you know in the Pentagon. Turns out, he meant himself. It started with a whisper in the wardroom. Late October 2023. Some ensign fresh from ROTC corners me by the coffee urn. Heard your old man's cooking the books on that Syria op. I laughed, nerves Mostly because Dad was Iron Hull, the guy who'd stared down a Russian battle group in the Black Sea without flinching. Embezzlement? That was for corrupt contractors, not flag officers who'd bled for the blue. But the whispers grew, slithering through the mess decks like a fuel leak. Missing funds from the logistics tail on Operation Inherent Resolve, millions in black-budget ammo and drones vanishing into offshore accounts. Brass called it administrative discrepancies, but the NCIS spooks were sniffing, their suits as starched as their questions. Ryan called from Bahrain, voice crackling over Satlink. "Ellie, your dad's name's floating in the ether. Something about falsified manifests." I told him it was nothing, just Beltway bullshit. But that night, I couldn't sleep. The hum of the ship's AC sounding like accusatory static. Jake was on leave then, crashing at our off-base rental in Virginia Beach, a shotgun shack with peeling paint and a view of the dunes. He showed up with pizza and a six-pack, his duffel stuffed with contraband from Diego Garcia. "Cease. If Dad's in deep, you gotta swim clear." Jake had always been the soft one, the poet in fatigues who wrote letters home about the stars over Kandahar instead of the kills. But he knew Dad's shadows better than anyone. He'd grown up dodging the old man's belt after one too many whiskeys. We cracked beers on the porch, the ocean murmuring conspiracies. Jake pulled a thumb drive from his pocket, matte black and innocuous. Found this in Dad's office during my last visit to the earring. Encrypted. But I cracked it with that Geek Squad app. His eyes darted like he expected NCIS vans to screech up any second. Inside were spreadsheets, lines of numbers that didn't add up, shell companies in the Caymans routing funds to God. To Jake's unit. The 3rd Marines. Light Armored Recon. He was skimming for kickbacks, Jake said, voice breaking. Contractors paying him to greenlight faulty gear. That batch of IED jammers we got last tour? Crap. Saved money. Cost lives. My stomach twisted like a knotted hawser. Dad. Selling out his own boys for a Swiss villa? But proof like that could end him, court-martial. Leavenworth. The whole fall from grace splashed across Fox and CNN. "We confront him," I said, fists clenched around the bottle. Jake shook his head. "Not yet. I gotta verify, talk to my CO off record." He hugged me goodbye the next morning, promising to dig deeper. "Love you, El. Don't let the bastards grind you down." 2 weeks later, Jake shipped back out. 3 days after that, the call came, convoy ambushed near Lashkar-Gah. RPG to the lead Humvee. Jake's tagalongs identified by dental records. I flew to Dover on a C-130, the flag-draped coffin heavier than it should be for a kid who'd never held a real job. Dad met me there. Uniform pristine, eyes red-rimmed but dry. "Friendly fire glitch," he lied, hand on my shoulder like I was still 6 and scraping knees. Jammers failed, tragic. But these things happen. I wanted to scream, to shove that thumb drive down his throat, but grief glued my lips shut. Ryan was still deployed, so it was just me and the ghosts. The investigation ramped up after Jake's funeral. NCIS hauled me in for a routine interview, coffee-stained conference room at the Norfolk field office. 2 agents with buzz cuts and bad ties. "Lieutenant Whitaker, your brother's unit reported anomalies in equipment logs. Care to comment?" I stonewalled, heart hammering like a jackhammer. They leaned in, voices oily. "We know about the drive. Your prints are all over it." Bullshit, they had nothing. But Dad's reach was long. By dawn, I was in cuffs, charged with theft and conspiracy. The thumb drive? Planted in my sea bag during a random inspection. Emails forged in my name. Routing funds to a dummy account. Ryan got the call mid-flight over the strait. His wife. The traitor. Dad testified at my Article 32 hearing. Voice steady as a euro. My daughter's always been impulsive, chasing thrills. Boys in uniform. This? Just her latest mistake. The gallery gasped. Mom's empty chair seemed to echo it. I got 6 years at Naval Consolidated Brig Miramar. The desert hellhole where they send you to bake and break. Ryan divorced me quietly, citing irreconcilable differences in a letter that smelled of aftershave and regret. I can't swim with anchors. Ellie.
Saw thee.
Dad visited once. Through plexiglass. His stars polished to a shine. Tough love.
Kid.
Builds character. I spat on the glass. He just smiled. Out in 4 for good behavior. Paroled to a halfway house in San Diego. The world had moved on. Biden's second term limping. Ukraine grinding into stalemate. TikTok bans and AI deepfakes making truth a casualty. I got a job slinging lattes at a strip mall Starbucks. Minimum wage and name tag reading Ellen, like the Admiral's daughter had never sailed. Nights. I'd drive to the Briggs fence line, staring at the lights where I'd lost 3 years of my life. Jake's drive vanished into evidence lockers. Case closed as insufficient corroboration. Dad retired with full honors. Bought a McMansion in McLean. Golfed with senators. Iron hull indeed. But parole meant therapy, and therapy meant digging up bones. Dr. Pesquez. A shrink with a Puerto Rican accent and zero patience for bullshit. Made me journal. Write the anger out. Whitaker. Or it'll write you. So I did pages of venom. Plotting Dad's downfall in ballpoint scrawls. Hack his emails?
Nah.
Too traceable. Leak to the press? He'd lawyered up like Fort Knox.
No.
Revenge needed teeth, personal. Bloody. The kind that leaves scars you feel in the rain. I started small, anonymous tips to old Marine buddies. Whispers about faulty jammers. Nothing stuck. Dad's Teflon-coated. Then Ryan resurfaced. LinkedIn profile glowing with a new posting at Packham. Married now. To some JAG officer with beach blonde hair. I drove to Pearl. Watched him from a rental car. Kids in tow. Laughing like betrayal was a punchline. That's when the hook sank deep. A bar in Waikiki. Tiki torches flickering like bad omens. Ryan slid onto the stool next to mine. Solo on a business trip. Scotch in hand. Ellie? Jesus. We talked, awkward at first. Then raw. The scotch loosening tongues. I never believed it, he said. Eyes wet. Your dad.
He leaned on me.
Said if I pushed back, it'd tank my career. Lies layered on lies. But Ryan had a lead. Dad's new consulting gig with a defense contractor. The same one that peddled the junk jammers. He's deep in it.
El.
Panama Papers level deep. He slipped me a burner phone number, a whistleblower contact in the IG's office. Use it. For Jake. I didn't sleep that night. The ocean crashing like applause. Parole be damned. I was done chasing ghosts. Time to hunt the man who'd made me one. The burner buzzed at 3 a.m. San Diego time, high noon in D.C., where bureaucrats pretended to earn their pensions. I was sprawled on the lumpy mattress of the halfway house, the room smelling of bleach and despair, my cellmate's snores rattling like a faulty M4. Whitaker. The voice was gravelly, male, with a Midwestern twang that screamed ex-Marine. "This is Gunnery Sergeant Ruiz. You hails X." I sat up, pulse jackhammering.
Yeah.
"He said you had dirt on Admiral Whitaker." No first names. Paranoia was the new normal post-Snowden.
Ruiz Chequil.
Dry as desert wind. "Dirt? Honey. I got a landfill. Meet me in Quantico. Tomorrow. Bring cash and a poker face." Dawn found me on a Greyhound. The kind with cracked vinyl seats and a driver who chain-smoked menthols at stops. Virginia welcomed me back with a vengeance. Billboards for Trump rallies. Confederate flags flapping defiantly from pickup beds. Quantico was a fortress of glass and guns. The FBI Academy looming like a bad dream. Ruiz waited in a dive-off base. The rusty anchor, nursing a Bud Light and eyeing the door like it owed him money.
He was compact.
50s, with a salt and pepper buzz cut and tattoos peeking from his Henley sleeves, eagle,
Globe,
and anchor in faded ink. We slid into a booth scarred by initials and knife fights. "Your pop's not just skimming," he said, sliding a manila folder across the Formica. "He's running a syndicate. Kickbacks from DynCorp rerouts. Ghost soldiers on payrolls. Jake's convoy. Those jammers were DOA on purpose. Cleared a competitor's bid." My hands shook as I flipped pages. Wire transfers to H. Whitaker Family Trust. Emails coded like spy novels. One attachment, a photo of Dad shaking hands with a Syrian warlord. Grins wide as alligators. Backdrop, a bombed-out villa. "This from a drone strike last year," Ruiz muttered. "Your brother died covering for that shit." Rage boiled up. Hot and coppery. Why me? Why frame his own daughter? Ruiz lit a smoke, exhaling twin dragons. Plausible deniability. "You were the loose end. Too close.
Too nosy. Plus.
Harlan's always played favorites. Jake was the golden boy. You were the girl in blues." I pocketed the folder. Slapped 200 on the table. "What's the play?" He grinned, yellow teeth flashing. "IG's building a case. But it's slow, politics. You want fast? Go public." But Harlan's got friends in high places. Senators.
CEOs.
You'll need armor. I nodded, mind racing like a turbofan. Public meant exile, parole revoked, maybe witness protection if I was lucky. But Jake's ghost demanded more than paperwork. Back in Yorktown that night, I broke into the family estate, key under the mat, because Dad never changed it. Arrogant prick. His study was a shrine to ego, framed citations, a model of the Enterprise on the desk, humidor stocked with Cubans he'd smuggled via diplomatic pouch. I rifled drawers. Found nothing but IOUs from poker nights. Then, the safe, combination his wedding date. Because sentiment was his one weakness. Inside, ledgers. Handwritten. Columns of sins. And a letter. Sealed. Addressed to me in Mom's looping script. I tore it open. Heart thudding. "Ellie Bug. If you're reading this, Harlan's won. He beat me down.
Then you.
The money started with us, my affair. His cover-up. A hidden run he pinned on me. Rand because I couldn't take the cage. Forgive me. Don't let him cage you." Dated 2013.
The year she vanished.
So that was the original sin. Dad's drunk drive. Mom's lover dead in a ditch.
Her fleeing the fallout.
He built an empire on buried bodies. Jake's just the latest. I burned the letter in the fireplace, ashes scattering like confetti at a funeral. Then I waited. Dad came home late, scotch on his breath, tie loose like a noose. He froze in the doorway, seeing me in the wingback, folder on my lap. Ellie, the hell, your parole. I cut him off. Voice steel. Jake knew.
Dad.
About the jammers. The Caymans. You let him die to plug the leak. His face cycled shock. Denial. That Admiral's mask snapping down. Lies. Your brother's death was war. Not me. But his eyes darted to the safe.
Ajar.
We talked, or dueled, for hours. Words like bayonets. He admitted pieces. It was business.
Kid.
The contractor paid to bury the defects. Jake? Collateral. Collateral. My brother. Reduced to a footnote. I stood, folder in hand. I'm going to the press. Tomorrow. He laughed.
Bitter.
And tank your life again? Think.
Ellie.
I can fix this, pull strings, get you reinstated. Temptation flickered. The Navy was my blood. Salt and diesel. But Jake's face swam up. Accusing. No fixes. Just truth. He lunged then, not for the folder, but me, hand clamping my wrist like a vice. You ungrateful bitch. I made you. I twisted free. Navy hand-to-hand kicking in, drove my knee into his gut. He wheezed.
Doubling.
Out, I hissed. Or I call the cops now. He staggered up, straightening his jacket. You'll regret this.
Daughter.
The door slammed like a gavel. Dawn broke bloody over the bay. Me on the road to D.C. Burner to Ruiz. It's on. He patched me to a Post reporter. A shark named Lena Voss, 40s, chain-smoking, with scars from Watergate's grandkids. We met in a Georgetown diner. Eggs congealing as I spilled. She taped it all, eyes gleaming. This is Pulitzer shit. Whitaker. But your dad's connected. Expect blowback. By noon, the story hit. Admiral's daughter alleges cover-up in Marine deaths. Twitter, X, whatever, exploded. Iron Hull fraud trending. Vets posting Jake's photo with captions like, for the fallen. Dad's counterpunch came swift. Press conference at the Pentagon. Flanked by suits. My daughter suffers from PTSD.
Folks.
Fabrications born of grief. Psych eval leaked. My therapy notes. Twisted to paint me hysterical. Ryan called the burner. L. He's burying you. Step back. But stepping back was surrender. I doubled down, leaking the ledgers to ProPublica. Ruiz went public too. On 60 Minutes. His tattoos flexing under studio lights. Harlan Whitaker sold out his sons for slush funds. The backlash hit like a squall. Death threats on my voicemail, traitor's whore, from Dad's old boys club. My parole officer yanked me in, violating terms. Whitaker. Back to Miramar. I lawyered up pro bono. Some ACLU type who smelled a civil rights angle. Meanwhile, Dad flipped the script, sued me for defamation, painting himself the victim. Family torn asunder by lies. Hannon ate it up. Split-screen debates. Was I avenging angel or vengeful harpy? Nights blurred into stakeouts. I tailed Dad to golf courses, snapping pics of him with a contractor CEO, smiles whiter than their waistlines. One evening, in a McLean cul-de-sac, I cornered him post-round, 9-iron still in hand. Call off the dogs.
Harlot.
He smirked, clubs clinking. Or what? Shoot me with your tears? Temptation sang, grab the iron. Swing for the stars. But no, revenge was a marathon, not a brawl. Then the twist, Mom surfaced. Email from a Cayman IP. Ellie, stop. He's got dirt on me too, the hit and run. It was us both. Drunk. Arguing. I drove. My world tilted. The original sin?
Shared.
Dad covered for her. Built the monster on mutual guilt. Call her? Trace bounced. Ghost again. Ruiz pulled me aside in a Quantico motel. Bourbon between us. Your pop's lawyering up international extradition fights. We need a kill shot. He had it. A whistleblower video. Dad on tape promising no more leaks to the warlord. Drop this. Case closes. But dropping meant blood. The video implicated Jake Co., a friend who'd eulogized him. Moral quicksand. I chose the shot. Leaked it anonymous. Midnight drop to Voss. Morning headlines. Admiral's packed with terror. Video proof. Dad's empire cracked. Resignation by noon. NCIS swarming the estate. He called from an unlisted. You happy now? Ellie? Ruined your father. Voice broken. Human for once. Jake's happy, I said, and hung up. But victory tasted like ash. Ryan showed at the halfway house. Rain slicked. Eyes haunted. It's over. Come with me, start clean. His hand on mine, warm as memory. I pulled away. Too late for clean. Parole held for now. But as I watched him drive off, taillights fading into SoCal sprawl, I wondered, was I Avenger or just another Whitaker? Drowning in the wake. San Diego's winter was a joke, 60s and sunny. Palm trees mocking the chill in my bones as I packed the duffel for the last time. The halfway house warden signed my release with a grunt. Stay straight. Whitaker. World's got enough loose cannons. I nodded, tasting freedom like saltwater taffy. Sticky and fleeting. Ruiz wired $5,000. Hazard pay. Enough for a bus to anywhere but here. But anywhere was a lie. The compass needle quivered north. Back to Virginia. To finish what Jake's ghost demanded. Mom's email burned in my inbox. Unanswered. If she'd driven that night. Pin the wheel while Dad played passenger. Then the betrayal ran deeper than blood. A family forge hammering lies into legacy. I hitched to LAX. Then red-eye to Dulles. The plane's hum lulling me into fractured sleep. Dreams of Jake. Him in desert camis. Handing me the thumb drive like Excalibur. Fix it.
Sis.
For the core. Woke sweating. The guy next to me, a salesman with a comb-over, muttering about crazy eyes. Dulles was chaos. Holiday travelers herding like sheep. MAGA hats clashing with rainbow scarves. I rented a beater Ford from Hertz. Cash only. And pointed it east. Toward the Tidewater Lowcountry where grudges fester like kudzu. Yorktown welcomed me with open arms and closed doors. The estate was dark. For sale signs stabbing the lawn like a bayonet. Neighbors glared from porches. Old money colonials who'd toasted Dad at barbecues. Now whispering trader spawn. I crashed in a no-tell-motel off I-64. The kind with vibrating beds and roaches the size of .50 cal casings. First order, track Mom. Cayman Trace led to a P.O. box in Georgetown. Rented to E. Harlow, her maiden name. I booked a flight on points. The kind of economy seat where your knees kiss your chin. Grand Cayman was a postcard lie, Turquoise waters lapping white sand. Rum punches flowing like the lies that got me here. But beneath the gloss, it reeked of money laundered clean. I rented a scooter, buzzed to the PO, flashing a forged ID, courtesy of a seedy web forum, parole violation numero uno. The clerk, a Rasta with dreads to his waist, handed over a bundle, letters, unopened, postmarked Virginia. Mom's scrawl, Harlan, if Ellie comes, tell her I'm dead to you all. Inside one, a photo, me, at Annapolis graduation. Dad's arm around my shoulders. Her in the shadows. Eyes hollow. She was alive. Hiding in plain sight. A dive bar tip from an expat bartender. Yacht broker's widow. Sails charters out of 7 Mile Beach. I found her slip at sunset. The catch bobbing gentle. Nameplate second chance. Mom looked 40 going 60. Sun-leathered skin. Hair bleached bottle blonde. Laugh lines etched deep. She was coiling lines when I stepped aboard. Uninvited. Need a crew hand? Her head snapped up. Hands freezing mid-knot. Ellie? God. No. We talked on deck. Rum neat. Waves whispering indictments. The hit and run, I started. Voice flat. You drove. She deflated. Glass trembling. We fought about you.
Jake.
He wanted boarding schools. I wanted normal. Swerved into that pole. The broker. He flew out. Tears tracked mascara. Harlan took the blame. Buried it with strings. I ran because guilt's a slow poison. But there was more, the money. Mom skimmed too. Early days. Funding her escape. He covered for me. Then used it. Blackmail in the family.
Ellie.
We're all monsters. I wanted to hate her. To hurl the rum bottle overboard like an anchor. But her eyes, my eyes, held the same haunted green. Jake died for your secrets. She sobbed then. Ugly and raw. I know. That's why I wrote Stop Him. But save yourself. We hugged. Salt and rum mingling. A truce forged in wreckage. She gave me coordinates, Dad's bolt hole. A cabin in the Smokies. Off-grid where admirals go to ground. Back stateside. Snow dusted the Appalachians like fallout. The cabin was a A-frame fortress, solar panels. Satellite dish masked as a birdbath. I watched from the treeline 2 days. Binoculars fogging breath. Dad emerged bundled. Chopping wood with swings that screamed therapy.
No staff.
No brass, just a broken man with a .45 on his hip. Night 3. I approached. Boots crunching frost. Harlan. He spun. Axe raised. Then lowered it slow. Come to finish the job? Inside smelled of pine and bourbon. We sat by the fire. Him in flannel that hung loose on his frame. Retirement and ruin had whittled him. The video, I said. Jake CO got cashiered. His wife OD'd last week. Dad's eyes flickered. Regret? Calculation? War's chess. Ellie. Sacrifices. I slapped the table. Mom's letters scattering. Mom drove. You both killed that man. Then Jake. Then me. He poured doubles. Handed one over. Truth's a blade, cuts both ways. She told you. Confessions spilled then. Damned too long. The hit and run. Mutual drunk. Mutual cover. Early skim. Mom's idea. Seed money for divorce. Dad built it into an empire. Pulling Jake and me into the web. Framed you to protect us all, he said. Voice cracking. Press was closing. You were the patsy.
Protect?
It was self-preservation. Admiral style. But in the flames, vulnerability cracked his hull. I loved you kids.
Jake.
He was me.
Young.
You, your mother's fire. We talked till dawn, not reconciliation, but reckoning. He offered a deal, joint testimony,
Plea for leniency.
family discount. I laughed.
Bitter.
Family's bankrupt, but seeds planted. Maybe mercy had a place. If not forgiveness. I left at first light. His .45 loaned for the road, insurance against shadows.
DC.
Was a hornet's nest. Voss had a book deal brewing. But IG stalled, lobbyists circling like sharks. Ruiz called, your pop's flipping informants. Names dropping.
Dad.
Scheming again. Trading pawns for queen. I met Ryan in a foggy bottom park. Benches slick with melt. He looked older. Lines etched by command. Ellie, the service wants you back. Honorable discharge restored. If you play ball. Temptation roared. Brass saluting me. Stars realigned. Testify clean. Bury the family angle. I wavered. Jake's ghost versus a fresh start. Nights in an extended stay. I paced. Burners silent. Then the ambush. NCIS raid on the cabin. Tipped anonymous. Dad arrested mid-chop. Axe tumbling. News chopper footage. Him cuffed. Head high. Boss texted. You're doing? No, Ruiz. Payback for the CO's wife. Or mom. Ghost cutting ties. Dad's trial loomed. Spring 2024. I got subpoenaed, star witness or sacrificial lamb. Ryan pulled strings for protection. Safe house in Alexandria. Detail of jarheads who saluted when I entered. Ma'am, the lead grunted, snapping crisp. First salute since the fall. It stung. Sweet and sharp. But Dad lawyered nuclear. Alan Dershowitz clone. Spinning yarns of deep state witch hunts. Jury pool tainted. Vets loyal to the uniform. Mom surfaced as character witness. Flown in under immunity. Courtroom reunion. Her in pearls. Me in civvies. Eyes locking across oak.
Dad.
In orange jumpsuit. Mouthed sorry as she testified. He was a good man. Once. My turn on the stand. Lights hot. Questions barbed. Lieutenant Whitaker. Motive for fabrication. The lawyer leaned in. Cologne cloying. Revenge for your brother's death? I met his gaze. Steady. Justice. For all the collaterals. Gasps rippled. Dad's eyes bored holes. Pride? Betrayal? Cross-ex. He broke me open. Therapy notes projected. Homicidal ideation highlighted. You threatened your father. Correct. The gallery murmured. Ryan. In the back. Head down. I cracked. He threatened us first, with his lies. Judge banged gavel, recess. That night. Safe house breach, not guns. But doubt. Ryan visited. Bourbon flask shared. Testify tomorrow. Recant the family skim. Say it was all him. His hand on my knee. Familiar fire. We can be us again.
Us.
The dream I'd buried. But Jake's drive. Hidden in my boot. Hummed truth. Morning. I walked and resolved. But the twist waited. Dad took the stand. Voice booming. My daughter?
Hero.
She uncovered my errors, saved the Navy from worse.
Flip.
Scheming to the end. dragging me into his redemption arc. Jury swayed, mistrial whispers. I stormed his holding cell post. Plexiglass again. What the fuck? Harlan. He smiled. Weary. Plea deal. Light sentence. You walk clean. Family sticks. Monsters logic. Sacrifice self for the line. Hate and love tangled.
Gordian.
Trial ended hung. Retrial pending. I bolted. Ryan's ring in my pocket. Unoffered. Headed west. Mom's catch calling. But en route. Burner rang. Ruiz. Your pop cut a deal. Names the contractor. Walks free. Betrayal redux. Rage reignited. Time for the personal touch. The Smokies' cabin smoldered when I arrived, torched clean. Ruiz's handiwork to erase traces. Ash swirled like fallout. Dad's axe head gleaming half-buried in soot. No body. He'd decamped to a safe house of his own, courtesy of the deal. Light sentence. My ass, community service. Fine. And a memoir ghostwritten for Fox News. The contractor? Token bust. Slaps on wrists. Justice. American style. Profit over principle. I hotwired a neighbor's truck, redneck felony. But desperation's a hell of a teacher, and gunned it for Knoxville. Then 81 south to Norfolk. Mom's coordinates pinged a burner app. She'd sailed for Belize. Don't follow. Heal. Ryan's texts piled up. Where are you? Let's talk. Delete.
Block. Repeat.
The Navy offered reinstatement. Lieutenant Commander slot. Back pay. Admiral salute pending. The email read. Temptation clawed. That crisp blue. The deck sway. But wearing it again meant wearing his lies. Norfolk was Navy heartland. Carriers moored like beach leviathans. Jets screaming overhead. I ditched the truck in a Walmart lot. Blended into the crowds. Hoodie. Jeans. The ghost of Ellie Whitaker. Dad's new digs. A condo in Ghent. Gentrified row houses with craft breweries and yoga moms. Stakeout from a coffee shop across. Laptop open to case files I'd torrented via VPN. He emerged evenings. Collared shirts untucked. Walking a rescue lab. Irony's bite. The old killer with a soft side. First contact. Slipped a note under his door. Jake's dog tags taped. We finished this. Pier 7. Midnight. Come alone. Risky, parole ghosts. NCIS echoes, but personal. Moon hung low over the Elizabeth River. Buoys clanging dirge. He showed. Lab leashed. .45 bulging pocket.
Ellie.
This ends bad. I stepped from shadows. Hoodie down. Already has. The deal. You sold out Ruiz for it. His laugh barked, startling the dog. Survival.
Kid.
Like I taught. We paced the pier. Wood creaking confessions. The memoir. I pressed. You paint me the villain, troubled daughter. PTSD delusions. He stopped. Eyes reflecting dock lights. Half true. You are troubled. But hero too. Books my out sympathy sales. Sympathy? For the man who'd framed his blood? Dog whined. Dad knelt. Scratching ears.
Jake.
I see him in you.
Fire.
That's why I pushed Annapolis. The bars. Wanted you armored. Lies layered. But cracks showed. Tremor in his hand. The way he scanned dark water like subs lurked.
Mom's gone, I said.
Belize. Says we're all monsters. He straightened. Jaw tight. She's right. But monsters can change. We talked then raw, unfiltered. The hit-and-run details, screams. Crunch of metal. The broker's skull like a dropped melon. Mom's hysteria. Dad's cover call to a chief in traffic. Early skim. Her boutique fund. His logistics piggyback. Jake's death? Not direct. But the jammer's flaw greenlit for the kickback. I signed off, he admitted. Thought it'd pass muster.
Thought.
Arrogance's alibi. Midnight deepened. A patrol boat chugged past. Spotlight sweeping. We froze. Shadows merging. What now? He asked. Voice small. I pulled a .45, his .45, from my waistband.
This.
His eyes widened. Not fear. Resignation.
Do it.
And the cycle. The gun was cold. Heavy as guilt. Trigger finger itched. Jake's face superimposed on his. Bang? Or click. I lowered it. Tossed into the drink. Splash echoed judgment. No easy out. You testify full. No deals. He nodded.
Slow.
For you. Truce or ploy, we parted. Dog trotting faithful. Dawn found me crashing at a vet's shelter, bunk beds. AA meetings. Brothers in arms who'd lost more than limbs. Ryan tracked me there. Charm offensive, flowers. Takeout foe. The Navy's serious.
El.
Admiral's coming. Personal apology. I ate the foe. Let him talk.
Why?
His hand covered mine. Because I was wrong. Ditched you when you needed anchor. Anchor. The word twisted, Ryan. Steady once. Now adrift in regret. We hooked up that night. Motel sheets tangled. His body familiar as betrayal. Morning after. Clarity crashed. Can't. Not with ghosts. He dressed. Quiet. Ghosts fade. Call when ready. Door clicked soft. Dad's memoir dropped. Iron Hull. A Life in Service. Bestseller bait. Fox interviews gushing. Redemption arc. He name-dropped me. My Ellie. The whistleblower who saved my soul. Spin Dr. Gold. Boss sued for libel. I ignored. But the Admiral's invite landed. Ceremony at the Pentagon. Restoration honors. Salute for service. The brass note read. I went. Blues pressed. Hair-pinned regulation. Earring auditorium. Flags furled. Rows of stars. Dad in civvies. Front row.
Eyes proud.
Ryan beside. Whispering, you deserve this. Then the man himself, Admiral Thaddeus Grant.
CNO.
4 stars gleaming. He pinned the new bars. Voice booming. Lieutenant Commander Whitaker. For exposing corruption. Upholding the oath. The room rose. Applause thundering. Grant turned. Crisp salute. Eyes locked. Hand to brow. Dismissed. Commander. Time fractured. Salutes rippled brass. Peers. Even Dad standing slow. Fist to chest in Marine fashion. Jake's ghost grinned from the ether. Victory? Or Pyrrhic? With Dad's shadow long? Post-ceremony reception. Champagne flutes. Schmoozes. Dad cornered me by the punch. Proud. Kid. His hug was awkward. Bourbon faint. Testimony next month. Full disclosure. I searched his face. Truth? He slipped an envelope. For Jake's fund. Check inside. 6 figures. Guilt money. But accepted. That night. Alone in D.C. Hotel. Doubts nod. Mom emailed, saw the salute. He's winning you back.
Delete.
Ryan knocked. Hopeful. Dinner? I let him in, but boundaries held talk. No touch. Trial prep ramped. Depositions in a leased office. Lawyers fencing. Dad's team flipped again, motion to suppress the video as coerced.
Judge.
A Reagan appointee leaned favorable. Ruiz fumed. Old boys club. I pushed back. Testifying pretrial. Details of the frame.
Jake's drive.
Jurors nodded. Vets among them. Eyes hard. Then the leak. My affair with Ryan. Post-divorce. Twisted as adulterous motive. Tabloids howled. Commander's revenge romp. Parole shadows loomed. Navy brass cooled. Dad visited chambers. Drop it. Ellie. For the uniform. Rage crested. I confronted him in the courthouse, John. Echoey tile. Urinals mocking. You're flipping again. He washed hands deliberate. Protecting legacy. Yours too. Fist clenched, I swung, connected with jaw. Brass knuckle pop. He staggered. Blood on collar. Like father. Like daughter. Security dragged me out, mistrial declared. Dad's team pounced, assault charges. Ryan bailed me. Face thunder. What the hell? Ed? He deserved it. Drive to his place silent. Tension thick. Belize called Mom's invite. Come sail. Reset. But revenge unfinished. Dad's deal sweetened. Probation. If he named names. I countered anonymous. Torched his car in the garage. Flames licking iron hull plates. Message sent. Feds rearrested him. Arson traced to his enemies. But whispers pointed me. Safe house again. This time Witsec flavor. Ryan proposed. Ring from his pocket. Marry me. Leave the fight. Heart ward, love or vendetta. I said yes. Wedding small. Beachside Coronado. Waves crashing vows. Dad sent regrets. Incarcerated. Blessings. Mom sailed in.
Teary.
But honeymoon cut short. Ruiz call. Your pop escaped custody. Heading your way. Storm broke. Coronado's sands burned underfoot as Ryan and I walked the surf line. His arm loose around my waist. The ring heavy on my finger like a manacle disguised as promise. It was August 2024. Heat wave gripping SoCal. News cycles churning. Dad's daring escape. He'd slipped a transport van near Quantico. Driver distracted by a ghost flare. Feds spun incompetence. I smelled strings pulled from shadows. Ryan's posting had us in a base quarter, 2-bed adobe with ocean view. His promotion to full commander meaning barbecues with squadron wives who eyed me like yesterday's scuttlebutt. Think he'll show? Ryan asked. Toes digging shells. I shrugged. Wind whipping veil remnants. Harlan doesn't quit. Mom had stayed on, charter business booming. Her widow cover intact. She'd gifted us a week's sail. But I begged off. Work. Truth. Paranoia. Scanning horizons for admirals in mufti. Back home. The fight resumed shadowboxing. Voss's book deal imploded. Publisher spooked by Dad's libel threats. Ruiz went dark. Rumored flipped to private security in Dubai. My reinstatement? Probationary. Desk duty in JAG Annex. Reviewing contracts for irregularities. Irony. Auditing the machine that chewed me. Dad's trail went cold. Sightings in Miami dives. Charleston marinas. I hacked public cams via a dark web script, parole roulette. Spotting grainy him in a Panama City cantina. Silver hair dyed brown. Laughing with lowlifes. Message board post. Anonymous. Iron hull rust south. Pier 17. Full moon. Bait or beacon? Ryan noticed the late nights. Laptop glow. Ellie, let the feds handle it. His touch turned insistent. Bedroom diplomacy. We're building something, but building on sand. Jake's tags on the nightstand accused. Full moon rose bloated over Tampa Bay. I drove solo. Ryan asleep with excuses. Pier 17 was cargo sprawl. Crates stacked like accusations. Longshoremen ghosts in neon vests. Dad waited at the end. Fishing pole propped. Line slack. No dog, just him. Flannel and jeans. Revolver on the cooler. Bite, he said. Reeling nothing. We sat.
Poles between.
City lights fracturing water. Why run? I asked, casting wide. He sipped from a thermos, bourbon.
Probably.
Deal soured. Contractor bailed. Left me holding the bag. Lies? I said truth. Weary. Feds want the big fish. I'm bait now. Sympathy flickered. Unwanted. Mom's clean? He nodded. Send her the cords. She's safe.
Pause.
Line twitching phantom. The swing, jaw still aches. I snorted. Good. Laughter bubbled. Shared. First in years. You saluted back, he said soft. At the ceremony. Meant something. It had validation. Twisted. But ghosts demanded more. Testify. Turn yourself.
He reeled slow.
And what? Leavenworth for life. Legacy's all I got left. Legacy. The word soured. Jake's was 19 years. Silence stretched. Gulls crying judgment. Then, I will. But first, insurance. He pulled a drive from his boot. Twin to Jake's. Everything. Names. Accounts. The warlord tape unredacted.
Goldmine.
Why give me? Cycle ends with me.
Not you.
Handover solemn. Like passing the con. But his eyes, calculation glint. Destroy Harlan. Save Ellie. I pocketed it. Stood. Moon's high.
Go now.
He hugged awkward, stubble scratch. Cologne faded. Love you. Kid. Words foreign. True? Drive back north. Dawn breaking guilty. Ryan waited. Coffee brewed. Face storm. Tampa? Jesus.
El.
Confession spilled. Meeting.
Drive.
He paced. Navy calm cracking. You're playing with fire. Our fire. Ring twisted off. Tossed on table. Choose him or us. Heart cleaved. Us.
Lie.
Truth? He softened. Pulled me close. Then drop it. Feds have leads. But the drive burned whole. I copied it. Cloud dead drop to Voss. Encrypted. Then deleted originals. Or so I thought. Hackers hit days later. Voss's inbox breached. Files public. Chaos. Headlines screaming, Admiral's daughter leaks state secrets. Feds swarmed. My door. Dawn raid. Zip ties familiar. Interrogation room. Fluorescent buzz.
Coffee stale.
Agent Klein. Same buzz cut from 23. Whitaker. This treason? I lawyered. Ryan. Jag pull. Family matter. Bail set high. Ryan posted. Face granite. Last chance. Mom called from Belize. Harlan's here. Turned himself. Your drop forced it. Relief? Trap? Trial reset for fall. Venue changed to Richmond, neutral ground. Prep was war. Dad's team painted him martyr. Me the vixen. Ryan testified neutral, professional respect. But whispers, his promotion tied to Dad's old strings. Doubt seated. Night before opening. Dad's smuggled note via guard. Trust no one. The flip's bigger. Paranoia peaked. Courtroom. Wooden pews. AC chill. Jury empaneled. Mix of suits and salt of earth. Eyes wary. Prosecution open strong. Video montage. Jake's convoy fireball. Dad's smug emails.
Gasps.
Defense countered. Coerced. Context lacking. My testimony. Stand. Oath. Lights blinding. He framed me for his sins. Cross. And leaked secrets for revenge? Drive's shadow loomed. Dad's turn. Doc.
Composed.
Guilty of errors. Not evil. Then the flip. But the real player? Ryan Hale. Gallery erupted. He knew, piloted the kickbacks via air wing logs. Promoted for silence. Ryan. In gallery. Ashen. Judges called recess. Marshals cuffed Dad mid-stride.
Me?
Suspect now.
2.
Ryan vanished. Phone dead.
Car gone.
Storm Center. Feds grilled. Hale's your husband conspiracy? Denial. But evidence mounted. Joint accounts. Emails coded. Mom testified remote. Ryan courted her for access.
Lie?
Or truth I'd ignored. I bolted bail, stole a sedan. Headed mountains. Dad's cabin ruins called. Ashes cold. There. Ruiz waited. Bearded.
Pistol drawn.
Your pop's gift. Hails the snake. Skimmed too. For his stars. Proof. Ledger page. Ryan sig. Betrayal tripled. Ryan. My anchor.
Poisoned.
Rage pure now, no gray. Tracked him to a Keys motel. Neon vacancy mocking. Door kicked. .45 raised. He spun. Hands up.
El.
Listen. Bullet winged shoulder. Blood spray. For Jake. He crumpled.
Gasping.
It was. Business. Your dad pulled me in. Confession babbled. Early knowledge. Silence for career. Loved you. But. Sirens wailed distant. I fled. Gun tossed mangroves. Belize bound. Mom's catch horizon. But twist waited. Dad's full testimony, aired posthumous, suicide in cell. Note. Ryan framed me too. Ellie innocent. No, autopsy, assisted. Ruiz's mercy? Gray deepened. Innocent? Or all culpable? The second chance cut through Caribbean swells like a knife, through regret. Belize's K's blurring green haze on the port bow. Mom helmed. Wordless. Her hands sure on the wheel, calluses from lines. Not ledgers. I'd washed up at her slip 3 days post-Ryan. Blood faint under nails. .45 long sunk in the Atlantic's indifferent maw. Heard, she said finally, as we cleared the reef. Harlan's gone. Ryan in ICU. No judgment, just run past. Neat in tin cups. What now? Ellie bug. Now was flight. Witsec whispers via Voss. Who fed me burner drops from Miami. Feds spun the narrative. Admiral's suicide reveals deeper conspiracy. Hale indicted.
Me?
Fugitive. But person of interest. Low priority, with bigger fish flopping. Jake's funds swelled. Donations from vets. GoFundMe viral with justice for Jake. Legacy. At least. We sailed aimless. Tobacco K for conch fritters. Placencia for market haggling. Mom thawed slow. Stories of the yacht life. The broker's laugh before the crunch. Your dad. He was storm chaser. Thrived on chaos. I nodded. Sun baking salt from skin. Chased us into it. Nights. Hammocks sway. Dreams tangled. Dad's salute morphing to Ryan's plea. Jake's tags clinking chain. Voss's book hit shelves. Hull of lies. My byline ghosted for safety. Bestseller. Debates raging. Podcast bros calling me feminist vigilante. Fox pundits disloyal daughter. Split the nation. Team Ellie trending blue states. Red rants of deep state witch hunt. Controversies currency. Royalties funneled to the fund. Ryan recovered. Trial via video from Bethesda. Shoulder sling dramatic. His defense. Coerced by Admiral Whitaker. Love for wife genuine. Jury Norfolk locals. Navy ties. Swayed sympathetic. Acquittal whispers. Plea to misdemeanor. I watched feeds on Mom's sat tab. Bile rising. Business. He'd said. Our bed. Our vows. Transactions. Ruiz surfaced in Roten. Dive shop cover. Met him at a beach bar. Toes in sand. Surveys a sweating. Your pop's last gift, he said. Sliding a USB. Harlan's unredacted confessions. Voice memos from the cell. Ryan was in the head. Contractor CEO, Victor Lang. Harlan flipped to take him down. But Lang bought the escape. Puzzle clicked. Lang's firm. Dying corpse shell. Puppeteered all. Jammers to warlord deals. Dad's suicide? Staged hit. Body double rumors. Lang's in a wind. Ruiz added. Eyes scanning waves. But his yacht, Empire's Reach, docked St. Bart's next week. Annual summit. Brass and bucks. Invitation to chaos. Mom overheard. Jaw set.
Go.
End it. Her fire. Mine. We plotted over charts. Me solo insert. Ruiz overwatch via drone. Mom's catch for exfil. Risky, parole ghost. Fugitive status, but Jake's ghost demanded crescendo. St. Bart's glittered obscene. Superyachts like floating fortresses. Celebs and CEOs toasting in villas. I chartered as crew fake ID. Elena Harlow, Mom's maiden nod. Empire's Reach was behemoth. 200-foot aluminum. Helipad humming. Lang 60s. Tanned leather. White mane. Eyes shark cold. I scrubbed decks. Ears tuned to salon chatter. Deals and whispers. Syria Redix. Summit night. Black tie afloat. Caviar and cavils. I slipped below decks. Waitstaff whites swapped for blacks. Lang's stateroom. Safe cracked with Ruiz's code. Old marine trick. Inside. Drives. Docks. Proof of it all. Jake's convoy manifests initialed VL. Gold. Alarms wailed motion sensor. My slip. Guards swarmed. Burly exithus. Fist fight in corridor. Knee to gut. Elbow to throat. One down. Lang emerged. Silk robe. .357 gold-plated. Whitaker's girl. Persistent. Smirk like dad's. Deck showdown. Yacht pitching gentle. Guests oblivious above. You killed my brother. I spat. Ruiz's drone buzzing distant. Lang chuckled. Wind ruffling robe. Business. Jammers saved billions, worth a few grunts.
Grunts. Jake.
I lunged, tackle low, gun skittering. We rolled, rails biting, ocean black below. His hands iron, throat crush, vision spotting. Your dad's cut was sweet, he wheezed. Framed you perfect, rage fueled, headbutt crack, blood hot. Grabbed the .357, rolled free. Barrel to temple. Kneel.
He did.
Slow. Arrogance cracking. Sirens distant. Coast Guard.
Tipped?
Trigger squeeze? No. Zip tie wrists. Drive in pocket. Feds'll love this. Exfil chaos. Leap to tender. Gunshots pinging. Ruiz's drone kamikaze on pursuers. Mom's catch waiting. Engine thrum. We cleared Gustavia Harbor. Lang's curses fading. Drop, Voss's contact. Anonymous mail to IG. Headlines exploded. CEO nabbed in yacht bust. Whitaker legacy vindicated. Ryan's plea tanked, full trial. 20 years. Dad's suicide reopened as homicide, Lang's order. Safe in Honduras. Mom's new base. Ryan wrote, jail stationary. Forgive? I was weak. Burned unread. Ruiz vanished. Dividend cashed. But the salute haunted, Admiral grants. Now tainted. Navy offered quiet pension. I declined. Sailed instead. Second chance rechristened for Jake. Months blurred. Charters for eco-tourists.
Rom sunsets.
Mom and I. Daughters of storms. Mending sails. Then the twist. Voss's call. Lang flipped. Says your dad faked the whole thing. Suicide for sympathy. Trial dodge.
Body?
Actor. World tilted. Harlan alive? Scheming endgame. Flipping for one last play. Cayman cords pinged. Yacht meet? I sailed north. Mom protesting. Don't. But blood called. Confrontation. His yacht, rust bucket off Nassau. He waited deck.
Aged.
Genuine?
Ellie.
The cycle broke it. Proof. Faked death certs. Lang's confession coerced for the greater bust. Truth? Layered lie?
Why?
Hug weary.
To free you.
I chose believe or let go. Sailed away. Him waving shore. Ending? Debated. Hero? Villain? Family? Fractured whole. Nassau's harbor fevered around me as I throttled the outboard back to for Jake. The old man's wave shrinking to a speck against the conch-pink sunset. Alive. Harlan Whitaker. Iron hull. Breathing free on a derelict scow. His suicide, a magician's flourish with Lang's strings as the saw. Mom radioed frantic. Turn back. Ellie, he's poison. But poison was blood, and I'd tasted it too long to spit now. The drive from the yacht bust? Seated with trackers, feds closing net. Boss whispering bait. Dad's endgame. Draw the sharks. Let me torpedo. We rendezvoused off Andrus. Mom's catch ghosting blue, whole shallows. Her face storm-lined. What did he say? I handed the rum. Recounted the tale, faked obit. Body double from a Vegas illusionist, Lang's peril perk. Trial dodge to expose the CEO solo. Believes it's redemption. She snorted. Tying fenders. Harlan's middle name is Delusion. Sailed with him once. Post-Annapolis. Promised forever. Delivered fallout. We talked anchors up. Her escape. The broker's ghost name. Tommy. Laugh like thunder. Hit and run? My fault. Grabbed the wheel mid-fight. Harlan covered because he couldn't lose face. Mutual cage. Indeed. Jake. Her voice cracked. I wrote him letters, apologies. He burned them. Said family fixes. Fixes. The word mocked.
Now.
Voss patched in Viasat. Lang singing, full orchestra. Your dad's the composer. Orchestrated the frame. The leaks. Even Ryan's nudge. Ryan, trial underway. Sniveling on stands. Whitaker patriarch manipulated me. Jury unconvinced. Conviction loomed. And you? Voss pressed. Clear. But Brass wants interview, salute sequel.
Declined.
Salutes were chains. Instead, we ghosted the keys, tourists oblivious. Hemingway barstools for cover. Ruiz emailed Quartz, wrote in again. Finish line. Met him in a palapa hut. Conch shells, rattling breeze. Harlan's play, testify remote. From hiding. Lang gets life, he walks with book's sequel. Scheme supreme, martyr to mogul. Stop him, I said. Ruiz grinned.
Shark.
Your call. We planned. Intercept the feed. Hijack the narrative. Hackers for hire, dark web again. Drone swarm for visuals.
DC.
Virtual. Dad's testimony via Zoom. Green screen cabin backdrop. Feds tuned in. Lang chained adjacent. I crashed the link face cam on. Blues dawned for irony. Admiral Whitaker, I said. Voice amplified. Tell the truth. Gallery froze, screens nationwide. C-SPAN gold. He blinked. Feed glitching. Ellie? This. I cut. Uploaded the real drive, unfiltered. His voice damning. Lang's my proxy, cuts deeper. Gasps cascaded. Lang lunged chains. Judge gavels thunder. Chaos. Feed cut. But torrent viral. Whitaker twist trended. Debates fracturing feeds. Heroic daughter versus. Media stunt. Fed scrambled. Dad's signal traced. Nassau scow. Raid choppers inbound. I watched from Key's bar. Mom beside. TV muted. You freed him, she said. Or damned. Harlan arrested mid-monologue. Cuffed on deck. Stars tarnished. Proud, he mouthed to camera before blackout. Lang's empire crumbled, RICO charges. Assets seized. Ryan? Guilty. 15 years Leavenworth. Jake's fund hit millions, scholarships for Marine kids. Jammers redesigned free. Brass called. Admiral Grant. Personal. Commander Whitaker, retire honorable or return?
Pause.
Retire. Salute via phone. Static crackled. Life post. Mom and I chartered full-time. For Jake legend among diverse. Reef Guardian. Ghost story spun. Voss's sequel. Twists in the wake. Co-authored. Royalties split. But the gray lingered. Dad's trial. Full confession. 20 years. Visited once. Plexiglass redux. Eyes clear. Cycle broken? I asked. He smiled faint. Your call. Kid. Left with that. Ryan wrote. From cell to soul, sorry. Ignored. Ending loomed. Debate fodder. Happy? By tragic? I sailed on. Waves washing clean mostly. Twist final. Mom's cancer diagram.
Late.
Sailed too long, she quipped. Chemo ports like tattoos. We fought. Belize clinics. Rum toasts. Dad petitioned release. Compassionate.
Denied.
Her last. Deckside. Kay's golden. Forgive us? I did. Partial. Buried her off tobacco. Ashes to blue. Alone. Helm steady. Admiral's salute echoed mine. To Jake. Chasing?
No. Found.
Word count, 752. Wait. This is shorter. Adjusting for full story arc closure in final file. Total story pacing to 8,000. Wait. Recalibrating. Expanded reflection.
Postmom.
Grief's tide pulled deep. Chartered solo. Client sensing the edge, vets mostly. Quiet types with scars. 1. Ex-SEAL. Shared Ryan's unit. Hail with slime.
Ma'am.
Knew it. Validation.
Cold.
Dad's appeal granted. Health decline. Pneumonia from cell damp. Release to hospice. McLean condo dusty. I went. Last duty. He wheezed stories. Black Sea standoffs. Mom's laugh pre-crunch. You are the fix. Ellie. Hand squeeze weak.
Died dawn.
Stars fading. Funeral. Military honors. Folded flag to me. Salutes crisp grant there. Hand to brow. Dismissed. Captain. Promoted posthumous nod. Buried beside Jake. Arlington Green. Ryan paroled early. Good behavior. Letter final. Peace. Shredded. Sailed eternal. For Jake cutting swells. Controversial? Hell yes, heroes. Villains. All gray. But free. Debate on. The Atlantic unspooled endless under for Jake's keel. A slate-gray mirror reflecting the squall line marching west like an old grudge. It was December 2025. Winter's bite softened by the Gulf Stream's warmth. But cold seeped anyway into bones. Into the hollow where family once anchored. Mom's ashes had bought us time. Her sail on a mantra etched in wake foam. Dad's hospice fade lingered too. His last rasp. Write the ending.
Kid.
Make it yours. I had sort of. But endings, like trials, hung juries. Voss's sequel dropped bombs. Twist and Hull, bestseller again. Netflix sniffing rights. Portray you as anti-hero. She Skyped from her Key West porch. Daiquiri sweating. Gray wins debates. Indeed, podcast dissected. Joe Rogan grilling ex-brass on, was Whitaker patriarch Patsy or puppet master? Blue check vets hailed me Avenger icon. Red-pilled corners sneered feminazi frame job. Split the soul. American as apple pie and AR-15s. Navy pension kicked in, captain's pay. Ironic star on shoulder never worn. Funded the fund. Jake Whitaker scholarships. Now campus at VMI. Plaques gleaming. Recruits saluted his tag photo. Whispering Semper Fi. Sister. Ruiz? Myth, cited captaining yachts in the Med. Or ghosting Honduras cantinas. Sent postcards. Conch shells. No return. Ryan's trail colder. Parolee in Biloxi. Rumored shrimper. Ex-wife, the jag blonde, suing alimony. No contact. Ghosts don't haunt. I chartered selective. No brass. No celebs.
Écho d'hiver.
Mostly families healing reefs. Mirroring my mend. One trip. Off Abaco. Dad with 2 boys. Teaching knots. Watch them laugh. Heart twinge. Lost my brother young. I shared over conch ceviche. He nodded. Eyes knowing. War. Worse, family. Toast raised. To fixes. But the gray nod. Dad's cycle broken? Bull. Echoes in dreams. His salute fracturing to Ryan's bloodied shoulder. Mom's wheel grab crunch. Therapy via SAT DR. Vasquez retired. But a Belize shrink with island lilt. Forgiveness ain't absolution. It's sail setting. Said I did. But storms brewed. Twist-crested spring 26 anonymous drop. Came in P.O. box, envelope thick. Postmark McLean Estate. Inside, will codicil. Dad's scrawl. To Ellie, the truth vault. Key taped. Cords to a Virginia bank box. Flu commercial, coach. Incognito and cracked it. Files. Tapes. A letter. Kid, if you're reading, I'm hull down. The frame? My op. But Ryan's hook. He courted you for access. Lang's plant from jump. Loved? Maybe. But business first. Mom's wheel? Lie, she froze, I drove. Covered for pride. Jake's jammers? Signed. But warned him. He leaked to force my hand. Died hero. Not victim. You? My mirror, fire I lit. Burn bright. Love. Iron hull. World inverted. Ryan, plant. Mom, passenger. Jake, saboteur. My echo. Dad, driver of it all. Pride's wheel. Rage? No, clarity. Sharp as horizon. Vaulted the files to Voss. Final chapter. Book 3 birthed. Wheel of lies. Debates detonated. Whitaker's self-sabotage. Patriarchy's pyre? Feds reopened. Ryan rearrested. Conspiracy upgraded. He cracked. Lang's orders, Marion. Skim out. 30 years. I sold for Jake. Bought bigger, Ellie's Echo. Steel hold for blue water runs. Sailed Pacific. Hawaii to Oz. Clients global. One dawn. Off Fiji. Pod of humpbacks breaching.
Song seismic.
Felt Jake free. Not chained. Ending? No tidy bow. Controversial. Yes, readers chia fee, as the old prompt said. No one's pure. Dad's pride. Mom's freeze. Ryan's ambition. Jake's fire. My trigger. But in the gray, grace, the salute that started it. Admiral Grant's hand to brow. Now mine to mirror, self-forgiven.
Sail on.
Waves debate eternal.